Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be discussing some weird writing habits. Previous videos we were looking at the writers are weird tag and a few weird habits that kind of pop up here and there, and I just found that really fun. I feel like I haven't done a tag video in a while, although it probably hasn't really been that long, but with getting back to work and a new local lockdown, which is super fun, it feels like it might have been a bit longer than it actually is, but regardless. Yeah, we're in a new local lockdown in my particular area, which doesn't really feel like a lockdown because, you know, pubs and restaurants are still open and shops are still open. It's just, you can't leave, but I have to for work, so I've been given a special note to say that I can leave the area, and it's just really annoying, and it doesn't feel like it's helping because so many things are still open. If you're gonna have another lockdown, have another lockdown, for God's sake, don't be a coward about it. We're heading for a second wave, this is not the time to be a people pleaser. Did not mean for this to go on such a political start, but there we go. What were we talking about? Weird writing habits, yes. I have a fair few. I think we all do. We all have those little quirks where we have to recreate specific writing situations where we just can't focus without these things, whether it's having a certain type of drink, whether it's having a certain type of background music or certain lighting, or writing at a certain time of day. Everybody has their quirks that they need in order to fully get into the writing mood, and I'm no different. Some of these are little habits that I do want to try and get out of before NaNoWriMo comes around again, and it's not because they're bad habits. Well, depending, maybe. I feel like these habits have altered a lot in lockdown and all the rest of it, and I kind of want to get back into a more sturdy setting and, you know, dampen out a few just to get back on track. Does this make any sense at all? I'm very tired, guys, I'm sorry. My first weird writing habit isn't actually that weird, it's just the way my brain goes about it that kind of makes it weird, is that I need background noise, and that's fine. Everyone has, you know, soundtracks playing in the background, or a certain playlist, or they just have the TV on, or they're from a busy household, so there's noise constantly around them. Whether it's, you know, having a YouTube video on in the background, or my Spotify on, or just random TV, I have to have background noise. But I'm very picky, it has to be background noise that I have chosen. So if I'm writing in the living room and my husband's like, oh, do you mind if I put this on? And I'm like, yeah, sure, no worries, because, you know, we share the living room. It's a living room for people who live in the house. So I never say no. But I struggle to write when he picks something, whereas if I've picked something, then I'm aware of what is going on the screen so I can start writing, whereas if he's picked something, I don't know what he's picked, so that's where my attention is. Same with music, I have to have my Spotify on, I have to have my music, and it's not a playlist, it's not like a certain, you know, a certain set of songs for a certain scene or anything like that. It is just random crap, but it is mine. Unfortunately then also comes if I do pick something and I haven't seen it or I haven't listened to it for a while, then I spend most of my time watching the YouTube video rather than actually writing. It is a vicious circle, and it is that is one of the habits that I want to get out of, because I need to really learn how to focus my concentration and not spend like half an hour trying to pick the right bit of background noise, the right video, the right song to start with, etc. I need to just get on with it. How am I going to get over this habit? Just by friggin' being hopeful, I guess. If you can hear my neighbours having a conversation in the garden, the windows are closed, they're just very loud, but they're lovely people, so it's okay. Another habit which I don't really see as a bad thing, or really a weird thing, but it is a weird writing habit in a way. And I've talked about this before, I jigsaw write. When I first gotten all of my planning out and I know exactly where things are going to go, and I've just, you know, done the big spew out onto the page of all of my ideas and rearranged them into an order, I then start writing, but I jigsaw write. I don't write in order very often unless Camp NaNoWriMo or actual NaNoWriMo is around. Those are my 3 times of the year when I fully am like, right, okay, I have written random scenes from random places, you have a vague idea of what's happening when, you just need to write the connecting dots. That is your time to write from beginning to end and fill in all of those pieces. Other than that, I'm like, oh, this is a fun scene from like chapter 10. I guess I'll write that now. Oh, I just thought of another fun scene that could be in like chapter 2. I'll write that one now. I'm all over the place. In case that wasn't unbearably obvious right now. I don't really see this as a bad habit. I mean, in terms of focus, it can be a little bit annoying when you do want to jump ahead and write a different scene, but you're already like really dedicated to writing from start to finish. It can be all over the place, but it does get stuff down and you do have an idea in your head of where the scene is going, so I don't see it as a bad thing. I don't think I'm going to be stopping this one anytime soon. I'm just going to try and get a little bit more under control. Now, this third one is weird because it relates to my anxiety, my social anxiety. If I am ever writing in public, which I haven't done this year, I don't think, because of everything going on in the world right now, I haven't done this, but I haven't written publicly. Coffee shop writing was one of my favourites because it was less of a distraction. You just put your headphones in, you have your Spotify, and you just go for it. You don't have to worry about finding stuff to have on TV. You don't have to worry about other people in your house. You can just write. However, my weird habit is when I go into a coffee shop, I have to have the perfect writing position. And by that I mean the right table to sit at. It cannot be in the middle of the room. It cannot be too close to the counter. It cannot be too close to the bathrooms. I have to have my back against a wall. I have to be sitting there knowing that there is no one behind me to look over my shoulder. I am fully aware that hundreds of people go into coffee shops with their laptops, with their notebooks, with their schoolwork, etc., and they write. People have job interviews in coffee shops. People have business meetings there. I am fully aware that I am not the only person who sits down to do some form of writing in a coffee shop. No one cares. No one is going to be looking over your shoulder. No one gives a damn about what you are doing. But in my head, as soon as I sit down and pull out the laptop, all eyes are instantly on me. And I know that is not the case. There has only been one incident where someone has actually leaned over. No, sorry, 2 incidences where someone has actually leaned over to look at what I'm doing. One was when I was, I think I've mentioned these stories before, but one was when I was researching demonology for my branded series, and this little old lady who was sitting on the table next to me happened to be glancing over, and I think I gave her the biggest wrong impression of what I was doing. I'm not trying to summon any coffee demons, I promise. And the other one was when I was just typing away and I did not have the perfect positioning, and someone was sitting on a table behind me, and they just kind of looked over my shoulder and went, yeah, I'd read it, and then just left, and that just gave me the biggest anxiety attack and I had to go home. So yeah, I have to be against the wall. If I am too close to a counter or the bathrooms, it's not the end of the world. As long as there is a wall behind me to protect anyone looking or catching sight of what I'm doing, even though I know no one gives a damn, no one is looking, no one cares about me, I'm invisible to the world, I fully understand that. But my paranoia and my anxiety is like, if you don't have your back against the friggin' wall where no one can see your friggin' screen, then everyone is going to judge you. And that is a habit I need to get out of, but it's not one I need to worry about right now because I'm not going outside. Apart from work, I'm not going outside. Well, work and walks. It's nice to have a good walk, just to keep the exercise, but apart from that, no. And before, this one has gotten some concern from a few people, especially when I was in uni sharing a house with other people. If I am really struggling with a scene, I talk out loud. So if I don't have my thought process spewed out onto a piece of paper, or if I have gotten everything out onto a piece of paper, and then it's time to rearrange and be like, okay, this scene is going to go here, I want this plot point here, this character is going to go through this arc around this point, blah 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 blah. I am looking at all of this stuff that I have just randomly splattered across the page, and as I'm trying to put it into an order, I talk out loud. I have full-on Sherlock mind castle moments where I'm like, okay, this scene seems good, but I need to put it right here, but that can't happen because this needs to happen first, and and I am just talking out loud, and I am not even fully aware of it. I don't do character voices, I don't try and like capture the mood in my voice, like, oh, and then this scene's going to happen, but no, but then this scene's over here. I don't go that overboard. I just mutter really loudly, and it sounds like utter nonsense to anyone who is not inside my head. I have not done it in public. Maybe. Unless I have. God, I hope not. No, I do talk out loud in my thought process. I tried to do it when I'm on my own, but I have to let it slip a few times, and it's not an often thing, and it can be helpful, but it can be an embarrassing thing. That is just one of my habits that occasionally pops up. And number 5, I've mentioned this before, I think in the tag video, I kind of channel my characters' emotions in a way. I go a little bit of an empath on them. Not intentionally, and it's not to an extreme level, but there'll be times when I'll be typing away and then my husband will look at me and go, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" "You look really angry at your computer right now. Like, you look like someone's really offended you," or you're looking a bit red in the face. Are you okay? You look like you're about to cry." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." So I'm not even aware that I'm feeling the emotions, but the emotions appear on my face. I don't think this is a habit to get out of, but it is a weird one, because again, if you're out and about and around people that don't understand what you're doing, it can look a little bit like you're bipolar, I suppose, having some kind of mental breakdown. So yeah, I have a few others, but I've probably wasted all of your time. This was a fun little video to make. It was just nice and chilled and relaxed. Let me know if you have any weird writing habits, because we all have our quirks, we all have things that we kind of look at each other and go, yeah, that one's weird, but I'm not going to judge you because I can match it with this. You can just go all out with it, and it's kind of fun. And I don't know what I'm going to be doing for NaNoWriMo in terms of these habits. I mean, for story and writing, I do know what I'm going to be doing, obviously, but still. This is going to be a Preptober thing to worry about, which is next week. What the hell happened to this year? Anyway, those are just a handful of my weird writing habits. It's probably nothing for you guys to be concerned about. This is probably going to be a very boring video, but if you've managed to make it this far, then thank you very much. I do appreciate it, and I really hope that you are willing to share some of your writing habits, either or. We don't judge here. I hope you guys are doing well, I hope you're staying safe, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye, my scribblers.